The most heated elections this year is here in Illinois. Republican Senator Mark Kirk and Democratic Congresswoman Tammy Duckworth dueling for Illinois' U.S. Senate seat. In a special report, Newschannel 20's political reporter Jordan Abudayyeh sat down with the candidates to talk about the largest issues.
During an election, campaign commercials flood the airwaves and talking points leave voters wondering who the best person for their vote is. I sat down with the candidates for U.S. Senate to talk about the issues that are important to them and why they're fighting for your vote. These are their unedited answers. Incumbent Republican Senator Mark Kirk has overcome a stroke. His challenger, Democratic Congresswoman Tammy Duckworth, was rescued from the battlefields of war. Both candidates have stories of perseverance and strength. We asked them why they want to be public servants.
I want to serve. I think that I can bring my skills and my dedication to serve the people across the state. And I love this state. You know, I've served all over. My husband commanded a unit in Carbondale. I lived in Chatham for 2 years when I was at the state with the administration. I served out of Peoria and Decatur and all sorts of places. So for me, it's about the fact that this is a great state. We should be leading the nation. I'm proud of the state and the people who live here and the working families who live here. And they just need a break. And I truly believe that if you're down on your luck, if you're working hard and you're not willing to give up, we as a nation shouldn't give up on you either. And I want to make sure that that's the case.
Because you can do a lot. In my case, that I've been able to do a lot for my fellow veterans. Like we uncovered scandals at the Hines VA, where the morgue was letting bodies rot for weeks on end, and we uncovered that. Make sure that veterans are treated with the respect that they deserve.
We asked the candidates what top 3 issues they want to tackle in the Senate. For Duckworth, bringing back manufacturing and creating policies to help small and medium-sized businesses, along with investing in education and making sure it's affordable for all of those who need it. For Kirk, building on his work to combat gangs and the violence they create, and spending, borrowing, and taxing less, along with removing what he calls the cloud of the federal debt.
For me, I'm probably one of the most recognized bipartisan workers in the Senate. A workhorse who's constantly always is reaching across the aisle, and when I introduce legislation, almost always I'll have a Democrat co-sponsor it with me, like the legislation I was backing just now in Washington, TC Tazewell County, to fix the FEMA formula if a devastating tornado ever hits us again. Dick Durbin and I got that legislation to fix FEMA so that you don't have to have $18 million in damage. In the case of Washington, Illinois, we lost 1,100 homes and FEMA did nothing because it had an outdated formula. We need to fix that.
I've seen some successes as a congresswoman that has really energized me, and I think I can do more and take that spirit of bipartisanship from the House to the Senate. I've passed legislation that saved taxpayers billions of dollars, even as a freshman, and I did it by working across the aisle when it goes to looking at the way the government buys things, and there's a lot of waste and fraud that happens in government, and some of my initiatives have actually brought back money for the taxpayers. I think that Washington needs some folks who understand what it's like for working families to put together just a life from month to month. I was on food stamps as a kid. My dad lost his job in his 50s and he was unemployed for a long time. And so I want people to be there in Washington because, you know, when you have folks there who grew up with privilege, oftentimes they want to reward wealth. I want to reward hard work, and that means that we need to have greater diversity, and I think that I can be the voice of the people of Illinois.
Early voting already underway in Illinois, and you can cast your ballot this weekend or head to the polls on November 8th. Back to you.